G'day folks, welcome back to Pete's Investing. It's 18th of May 2024. This is the Nat Gas and ETFs review, including BOIL, KOLD and UNG. As you can see, natural gas, BOIL and UNG have all risen slightly since our last update, and KOLD has dropped. We're going to be looking at a technical review on each of these. Also, here's the heat map for the various instruments we look at, and today we're looking at the top right here, the natural gas and their ETFs. You can see there monthly they're still predominantly bearish, although on the weekly and daily they're broken up into predominantly bullish with the exception of KOLD. Now a couple of things to look out for here. We've got a three-step process in terms of how to place trades. And again, looking at step one, determine the trend direction to trade. So looking at the daily, and if you're looking at trading on the daily, then the minimum weekly trend should be looked at. Or if you're looking at the intraday, then the 1 hour, for example, and you look at the minimum of the daily trend. And I'll go through how to look at and review these. Step two, trade on direction of the CCI 150 and fresh breakout from the CCI moving averages. So that gives you an indication if you're going long, for example, when it breaks out on the long side, actually be taking long trades only, no short trades, and vice versa. Step three, close trade when the CCI 150 enters the CCI 150 moving averages. And again, I'll go through the example of how to close some of these trades out. So first off with the natural gas chart, you'll be looking on the monthly, the weekly and the daily. You can see here on the monthly, we're in a neutral stage. The CCI is broken into the moving average band, so not yet bullish. On the weekly, it's broken outside of that moving average band, so giving us a bullish movement. And likewise on the daily, you can see there it's been hovering around that above those moving average bands and giving us a nice bullish movement over that period. Now, if we jump to the daily and the hourly, and we've got the daily here again as a reference point, a couple of things to notice. It's bounced off this support at 1584 and this major resistance at 3120 it's approaching. Now, I've drawn a Fibonacci between those two support resistance lines and that range. You can see there it's actually broken above the 61%, and that's a key area of focus. Whenever it breaks above that, there's a good chance it may continue. And you can see there the CCI is still hovering above the moving averages, so still looking positive at the moment. However, we did have a bearish divergence in our last video, and you can see here the price is still moved to the upside. So we're going to move that to that point there. And also on the CCI, it's actually made a bit of a higher move as well. Now, this hasn't actually executed yet. We would have expected it to break lower. And again, the way we look at this is drawing a Fibonacci to the recent low and to that high. So if we did it back to that level where it was previously, you can see there it hadn't broken to the 23%. And we're going to keep that there for the moment and just see how it goes. It may fall off or it may continue high. So we don't trade this. We just look at it at a potential area to get out of a long trade. If you're trading long on the daily, for example, this could be an early warning signal to get out of the trade once you see this divergence starting to pan out. Again, nothing's really happened yet. It's still price is still moving higher, so holding on for the moment. Next, we look at BOIL ETF. On the monthly, there is no CCI, but you can see there it's fairly bearish. On the weekly, we do have a bullish divergence on the CCI versus lower lows on the price, and it's making a bit of a bounce. So we'll see how that goes. Nothing really dramatic happening so far, but that is moving to the upside. On the daily as well, we did have a bullish divergence back here, and that's bounced off that support at 1346, and it's finally reached this resistance at 1975, and it possibly will break into this target area. We drew a Fibonacci retracement here, and that's our minimum retrace level. It looks like it's about to hit that the next trading day. Next few hours, upon when the market opens, we expect it to break into that possibly. Now let's go to the daily and the hourly charts. Again, there's that support resistance on the daily. On the hourly, we did have a bearish divergence here versus the price. It actually came down, hit our minimum target range there before making further upside. So that, as I said, that I don't trade this. This is simply an area to possibly get out of. And in this case, once you see the CCI making new highs, you would have possibly started taking new positions there as well. Now, in this case, it's gone up and hit that resistance at 1975. And there's possibly a little bit of a divergence. And remember, these little divergences are a lot more volatile sometimes. You can see there's a lower high on the CCI versus higher highs on the price. So that actually may retrace from that level to in the coming hours. So I'll keep an eye on that and see how it goes. Next we'll look at KOLD. That's on the monthly. There's no indicators on the CCI currently, so I'd say that's at least a neutral, if not bearish. On the weekly, we've got a bullish divergence back there versus lower lows on the price, and it bounced quite significantly. And if we were to draw a Fibonacci between that range there, you can see there it's actually still approaching that 23% level. So I'll keep an eye on that and see how it goes. On the daily, we did have this bearish divergence, and you can see there it's broken down, hit our target early on, and it's actually retraced back down now, resting on that 61%, and that 61% is always a key area to look out for. It may actually fall further than that. If we go to the daily chart and the hourly chart, again, there was that bearish divergence, and it's resting on that 61% on the daily. And on the hourly, we did have this bullish divergence, and I'll just have to readjust that on our last video. So we'll take it up to that level there versus the price making new lows. Again, this hasn't actually started to retrace yet, so we need to see that retrace in the near term. If I drew a Fibonacci, assuming it turns on the start of trading on Monday, we expect it to hit this area around the 23-38% level, assuming it retraces from the opening trades. Otherwise, it may continue on a downtrend, and as long as those lows are higher than that low, then we're going to continue this divergence. Lastly, we look at UNG. So here we've got the monthly. You can see there it's still tracking below the moving averages, so a bearish movement. On the weekly, we did have a bullish divergence versus lower lows on the price. Actually started to bounce from there, and that's a slight move to the upside. So bullish on the weekly at the moment, or very slight bullish. And on the daily as well, we had a bullish divergence versus lower lows on the price, and it's bounced up from there. And if I was to readjust, let me delete that, readjust that to that previous high, that will go back to that level there. We build the Fibonacci from that low, we take it back to the previous high before the divergence started, so we take it back to that level. You can see there it's already hit that 23% level at 1795, and that was also our resistance as well. So it's already punctured into that 23-38% range. So that's a positive. Now going to the daily and hourly charts. Again, on the hourly, I've got the daily there as a reference, but on the hourly you can see there, since our last video it's made new highs. We did have a, let me just go back to this point. There was no divergence there, or was there? Let me just delete that. No, that CCI is moving in line with the price, so no divergence. We did have a bearish divergence here, and that has to be readjusted. Take it up to that level. So again, that hasn't started to retrace yet, but if that was to retrace, then we'd look at taking it back to the previous low before the divergence started, and it would probably hit this resistance area, that 1795, which would be our now new support area. So that'll be something to look out for. Now also, in terms of a trading idea, as I said, depending on what time frame you're trading on, in this case if you're trading on the hourly, you want to trade, let me just delete some of these Fibonacci's and make it a bit clearer. So what I've got here is this CCI 150 mapping on the price chart, which shows it's green whenever the CCI is above the moving average range, and it's pink whenever the CCI is below the moving average range. So you can see there on the daily, it's bullish during those going back to end of April, and it had a couple of neutral positionings there, and during those few days there was bullish movement. So on the hourly, for example, if I apply those same patterns, you would have taken long positions from that point there. You can see there on the daily it was bullish, and that coincided with the bullish movement of the CCI above the moving average band. So it would have been a nice little trade to take there, and you would have closed out the trade when the CCI broke into that moving average band, and that's where it turned neutral or pink. So you would have taken that little trade, avoided going long or short during that period, and then you would have taken another long trade there, closed it out there, another few little pips there, and then taken another short little bullish movement, another little trade there, and then lastly you would have taken another long trade from that point there, and then zooming in from that point there, and you'd still be in the trade today. Possibly would have taken profits on that little one and then entered again there. So again, that's how you trade. Now, again, having said that, be careful of going long too aggressively, because we have got a bearish divergence here, which means the price can retrace at any time. So that's where I use these divergence. I don't trade them necessarily, although you can trade these, but it's pretty risky to trade them, in this case to go short. I still like to trade in the direction of the larger time frame trend, in this case going bullish movement on the price. To support us more, go to the Patreon page where we look at weekly scans of bullish shares. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.